Before we get started, can I ask you to take just a couple of seconds to help my videos be seen by more people? Below the video, you'll see the subscribe link. Please click it to see more of my videos, and if you click on the bell symbol beside it, you'll receive notifications whenever I post something new. Even better, if you click the thumbs up to like this video, it tells YouTube to promote it to more people so they will get the opportunity to see some of the north of England and South Scotland's amazing heritage through the eyes of a local photographer. And even better still, it costs you nothing more than a couple of seconds to do it, and it means so much to me. Thanks. Now to the video. They say there are only two things guaranteed in life, and that's taxes and death. Well, I believe there's a third guarantee. It will rain in Cumbria. Well, you can't have it both ways. It's the land of lush green fields and hills, and it is of course known as the Lake District, although strictly there is only one lake, at least by name, Bassenthwaite Lake. The rest are meres or waters, or as in the case of our subject today, a tarn. The name is of Old Norse origin, derived from the word Tjoren, and the Middle English Tern, meaning small mountain pool or small lake. Talkin comes from the Brittonic dialect known as Cumbric, which was formerly spoken in the area. The first part of the word, tal, means brow or end in Brittonic and modern Welsh, Cornish and Breton. The second part may again come from the Brittonic word, in which the Welsh and Old Cornish means white, and in Breton means bland or brilliant. Therefore Talkin may be a hill name meaning white brow. Talkin, a country park, lies around 2 miles from Brampton on the B6143 towards Castle Carrick. It's a 65-acre lake set in 120 acres of farmland and has been a favourite recreational haunt for locals and visitors for generations. We turn off the road straight opposite the golf course into the car park and head the 20 metres or so down towards the tarn. Our first sight of the water is also our first sight of the little Alex boathouse. Although originally a boathouse, it has been used for various things over the years, and last time I visited was being used as a temporary art gallery for local artists. The weather was cold, dark and showery when I arrived at 4 p.m. on this mid-March day. I'd brought my Lumix G9 for a change and left the Olympus at home. With both being of the Micro Four Thirds system, I packed exactly the same lenses for this trip as I had previously. You know, people ask me why to consider pro-grade lenses and bodies if they are just keen amateur photographers. They often get superb results from their considerably less expensive kit. Well, one reason is the weatherproofing. Living where I do, equipment can get wet. Very wet. And today was going to push my gear to the limits. The main path around the tarn is around 1.3 miles in length and all on the flat. An easy and enjoyable walk for almost everyone, and all of it very accessible for those less able, including wheelchair users. The choice of which way to go around is usually anti-clockwise for me. This way you can have your walk safe in the knowledge that there is a welcoming tea room near the end for your endeavours. The tarn is idyllic as you look out over the water towards the far hills in the distance. 10,000 years ago, this spot was very different to how it is today, covered in a huge mass of glacial ice. When the Ice Age departed, a kettle hole lake was left in its wake, which we now know as Talkin Tarn. The kettle hole shape makes it a beautiful but foreboding place. Very shallow at the edges, it drops quickly as you leave the shore area towards the centre. And there are underground lakes which feed into the tarn. 100 or so metres to the right of the boathouse, I come across a collection of local wood sculptures in a small parklet area. 3 carved wooden creatures of the water, a couple of fish and a beaver. The weathering causing a natural patina on the surface of the wood. Beside them, a small totem with a plaque inscribed with the artist's name and the inscription, "Love, Strength, Courage, Happiness, Sarah Foster." Lovely. you cannot miss the wonderful natural wood designed benches which are all around the Tarn circumference. All different designs and almost all with a fitting tribute to loved ones past. Really beautiful and lasting tributes. I took a few seconds out and sat on one, the small brass plate reading a tribute to a couple from the past. As I looked out over the water, I felt the peace and tranquility they must have experienced on their walks too, and I drank in the views they also enjoyed. Wonderful. Reaching the east end of the Tarn, the weather started to brighten a bit as I reached the brand new Tarn End cottages. This building is reaching completion, built on the site of the former Tarn End Hotel, a popular visitor location in its day but which sadly burned down some 15 years ago. When the sun does occasionally break through the cloud cover, we are treated to a beautiful sight. The colours come alive and reflect upon the water. The reeds and grasses instantly change from a dull grey to a warm brown, and the moss and grass becomes a more intense green. There are many viewing points ideal for wheelchair users and walkers alike to venture out a few feet over the water. Although it's a well-maintained park, nature is allowed to drive the direction of the land. Many trees have fallen over the years as the soil is eroded by rain and wind. Often they end up lying in the Tarn where they continue to thrive, although in a very different, new form than before. The water almost acts like a magical attraction for all things around it, and the trees are no exception. Where they meet their new resting place, their branches turn upward towards the sunlight, creating mini forests of tree growth. Now, there is not one path around the lake, but two. The main lower one and another further up around the Tarn Basin. Although today was not the day for me to explore that upper path, it is a perfect vantage point, if you are discreet and patient that is, to see much wildlife, including the beautiful and endangered red squirrels of the area. As I said, today was not the day. It was raining, again, and I was getting wet, again, as was my camera gear, again. Luckily, the foliage around the Tarn can also give surprisingly good shelter from the downpours. As I said earlier, nature does an effective job of changing the land with erosion which can be clearly seen in the way that the strong roots come through on the trees around the Tarn. They make amazing forms and patterns as they spread out. In other places, man has intervened to cut down some of the trees, and where their stumps are left, weird and wonderful artefacts remain. But even the trees which remain in their original spots have a story to tell. Many hundreds of years old, they bear the scars and character of their past, and huge knots and burrs in their sides. The Lumix G9 is Panasonic's flagship Micro Four Thirds stills camera, alongside its more video-orientated GH5. Considerably bigger and chunkier than my Olympus, it is still an excellent camera in the hand, with one of the most comfortable and ergonomic grips of any camera I've ever owned, and an absolutely humongous and bright viewfinder display. A joy to use and different to the M1. I'm totally undecided which is better though, as both excel in so many areas. I love them both. Coming up to the west end of the Tarn, and we see the haven in the distance, an oasis in the desert in the form of the tea rooms. Sadly, due to both COVID and the time of day, they're closed. But I can tell you from happy experience that they do a mean cuppa at the end of your walk. In the summer months, the Tarn is a hive of activity. The Talkin Tarn Amateur Rowing Club is now entering its 162nd year. Races were first held on the Tarn in 1850, and the club itself was formed in 1859. And after the Tyne Rowing Club, it's the second oldest rowing club in the north of England. Many people sail small dinghies on the Tarn too, although at this time of year the little boats line up forlornly, waiting for their owners to rekindle their interest when the weather changes. At the side of the tea rooms lies the play area for the little ones to enjoy. Although, as the rain once again poured down, it was obvious that today was not the day for play. Standing in the boathouse with the rain lashing down was the perfect place to watch the ducks and swans who called the lake their home. And so, breaking shelter to make my way the last few hundred metres to my starting point, I watch the last of the light disappear and I head off home again to warm up and get my well-deserved cup of coffee. Talkin Tarn is only 9 miles east of the city of Carlisle, just off the M6, and well worth a visit when our lockdown finally ends. Although wet at the moment, the summer brings the most glorious of days, and with the trees fully laden with their leaves, it really is a sight to behold. You really should try it. It's free to visit, although there is a small parking fee at the site. If you've enjoyed this video, then can I ask you to do a simple task for me? Below the video you'll see the subscribe link. Please click it to see more of my videos, and if you click on the bell symbol beside it, you'll receive notifications whenever I post something new. Even better, if you click the thumbs up to like this video, it tells YouTube to promote it to more people so they will get the opportunity to see some of the north of England and South Scotland's amazing heritage through the eyes of a local photographer. And even better still, it costs you nothing more than a couple of seconds of your time to do it, and it means so much to me. Thanks for watching.